Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Tennis Town. So today, I want to talk about something a little more, serious. Talk about life after retirement. So life for tennis players after retirement. We've seen in instances such as in that of Jennifer Capriati, for example, huge child prodigy, won a number of Grand Slams, was at the top of the game, but she didn't have any life after tennis. And, she basically hasn't worked now for the better part of 10 years, basically 10 to 13 years, something like that, since she retired. So the issue here is that with Jennifer Capriati, she was always a troubled child, we know that. And then after tennis, she had no structure, and then she went from this sports star to just being always sort of partying. And I mean, she was always partying when she was playing tennis as well, don't get me wrong, but there was a time when she had the structure and she sort of got herself together. But since she retired, she's gone off the rails. There've been reports that she, even tried to commit suicide. Was having troubles with, numerous boyfriends and breakups. Public spats, and just things aren't going well for her. And we question whether her mental health is 100% currently. And you see that a lot with I've seen a lot with other tennis players as well that maybe didn't necessarily make it to the highest level. Basically, it's difficult when that's, when you identify yourself as, for example, Jan, the tennis player, or, whoever it could be, right? Jennifer, the tennis player, in Capriati's case. When you identify yourself solely as a tennis player and nothing else, you're putting all your value in what you're doing. And that's great when you're winning and everything, right? Then that's great. You're top of the game, you're top of the world. But the issue is what happens when it's all over. I mean, you have to have a kind of identity after that, and that, I think, everyone needs to know who they are. And if you don't have that, then you can go sort of really off the rails. So it's really difficult actually for a lot of people to find that, and that's why we see a lot of sports stars in general, not just tennis players, but sports stars in general, that after they've retired, if they don't go working, they can easily spiral down into drugs, alcohol, all these kinds of problems, because they're in the bar, they're not happy with who they are anymore, because they feel that they're not that person that they once were, because they're completely attaching their personality to what they were doing. And the thing is, you got to understand that the sporting part, when you go into playing a sport, your sporting career is never going to last forever. In fact, sporting careers last a much shorter time than white collar careers, for example. And you've got to know and understand that that is just a chapter of your life, and it's not defining who you are, And you get that with players as well when they're at the top of the game as well. They don't necessarily retire, but they start going downhill and they lose, and they sort of go off the rails because they can't handle it, because they feel like they're worthless. But it doesn't mean that they're worthless. It just maybe they're not playing as well as before, whatever. But at the end of the day, that's just a chapter of their life, and that's not who they are. But they can't realize that. So it's just so important, for anyone out there that's actually aspiring to be any sports star, any sports person. Just remember that life's greater than just your sport. Your sport is a chapter of your life. You give it your all, and it's just amazing to achieve everything you achieve. It's the best to be at the top and to win and have all that hard work that you've done, all that hard work that you've put in pay off. But don't let it define who you are, because life is just a lot greater than that. And I mean, me personally, I always feel like I have many different facets to me. There's Jan the tennis player, Jan the husband, the loving husband, Jan the guy that works at an office job. There's all different sides to me, and neither of them define who I am, because I know who I am in here, and that's the main thing. You've got to find your value intrinsically from inside yourself, because if you're looking for exterior things to get value, to validate yourself, you're never going to be happy, because nothing lasts forever. So in this case, guys, let me know what you think. I took the example of Jennifer Capriati because I saw that she'd gone completely off the rails, and I was just looking for her and just wondering, where is she now? Let me know also if you've got any other players, past or present, who have sort of got a bit off the rails. I always like to sort of see, every now and then I like to check in and look at what past players are doing, and I just always ask myself, I wonder what they're doing now. And another example that comes to mind is Boris Becker. Just recently I was on a business trip and I was in Germany. I saw he was on the front page of the newspaper in the street because he'd gone broke and he'd spent on his money on alcohol, women, and all that kind of stuff. So and then Boris was saying he didn't feel German anymore because, you know, he felt like the German people had let him down and stuff. And again, that goes back to the fact that he's no longer playing tennis, I think. And, you know, he doesn't feel that love and support and energy that he was getting back then. And he's, you know, he's blaming other people for it. But that's the thing. I mean, that's just that's just one chapter of your life. And that's why you can't let that, you know, you can't let what you do, never let that define you, basically, is what I'm saying. So, cheers for listening, guys. Again, loving the support. It's been so amazing. You know, we only started this channel some weeks ago, and already, you know, I never thought that I'd have, you know, so many viewers. It's just really cool to have, you know, all of you guys watching, you know, our small little tennis town community. It's great. So, guys, let's keep it going. Let's grow it together. And I'll see you guys very soon in another video. Cheers.